movement that we as a nation should all get behind, or should we be skeptical? Is it a movement that will lead to peace, or will it inherently lead to more violence? Is it a movement that is based off of legitimate grievances, or is it based on a lie? Well, let's look at the facts. Now, before you call me a race traitor, and before you assume that I hate myself, let me just say this. I am black. My mother is black. My father is black. My brothers are black. My sisters are black. My uncles, aunts, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers are all black. And I love them very much. So no, I do not hate my own kind. And no, I do not hate myself. I love myself, and I love my kind, and I love my family. But you know what else I love? Facts. So why don't we go ahead and look at the facts? The general claim that is made by Black Lives Matter as an organization is that black men and women, specifically men in America, are targeted by police and by racist white people and white supremacists simply for being black. They say that it is a genocide. Now, me and you both know what a genocide is. You think of horrible tragedies that costed millions of lives in history. Now, what if I told you that what's happening is not a genocide and doesn't happen to black people exclusively? Police brutality happens to everybody, to all races. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my boys in blue. Of course there are going to be some bad apples in there. And yes, police brutality is a problem. But is it the problem that they are making it out to be in the context that they are saying? And is it exclusive to black people? Well, we got to look at the numbers to check it out. So let's take a look at the official data to see how many blacks were killed in the hands of the police in 2019. So we have 235 deaths of black people by the hands of police in 2019. Most of them armed, some unarmed, very few. Now, let's take a look at the stats for 2019 on how many white people were killed by police. 370. In 2018, 209 blacks killed by police. 399 whites killed by police. In 2017, 223 blacks killed by police, and 457 whites killed by police in 2017. So there are more white people that are killed by police every single year than black people. Now you may be wondering to yourself, well, why haven't I heard about this? I mean, most people have just assumed that blacks are the #1 target of police. And that simply isn't true. More whites are killed every year than blacks. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, Mark, blacks are only 13% of the population, while whites, if you don't include Hispanic whites, make up 60% of the population. And while yes, you might be right, but if you're looking at it that way, you're not looking at the whole picture. Now, a lot of people know this, but some don't. But blacks are 13% of the population, yes, but they commit over 50% of the violent crime in America. That's half. And if you want to get really specific, black men, who make up 6% of the population, are the ones committing the majority of these crimes. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I know if a particular demographic is committing crimes at a much higher rate than other demographics, then that specific demographic is going to be much more likely to have encounters with the police, and unfortunately, some ending with death. Now let's take a look at a city like New York City. 75% of the shootings are committed by blacks, as well as 62% of the murders. On the flip side, whites make up 3% of the murder in New York City. So isn't it common sense that since blacks as a demographic are more likely to commit crimes, wouldn't that logistically mean that they are more likely to have run-ins with the cops, that they are more likely to face police brutality, that they are more likely to be killed by the police? I would think so. Now that we have that part of the story down, did you ever wonder why is it that the entire system seems to be in favor of Black Lives Matter and the protests that have been taking the nation by storm? Well, if you're wondering why, that's a pretty good question. Not only do all the mega corporations support it, not only do most government officials, so do some very shady characters. Now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the Antifa members directing people what to do, and that might have a lot to do with what is the overall agenda of these protests. Members of the Minneapolis City Council, a Democrat-ran city, might I add, are now vowing to dismantle the police. They want to defund, dismantle, and disband the police in their city. Now, what do you think would happen if they were to do that? Do you think that it would save lives? Because there hasn't been too many deaths involving police officers and black men. But you know what there has been? There's been plenty of black on black crime. 94% of black men are killed by other black men. So do you think that number is going to get higher or lower if you disbanded the police? Now, like I said, I'm no mathematician, but I think it's pretty obvious. Do you think it'll save lives, or do you think lives will be lost? It is 18 and a half times more likely for a police officer to be shot by a black male than it is for a black male to be shot by a police officer. What does that tell you? It tells you that the Black Lives Matter movement is based on a lie that black men are being systematically and racially targeted because of who they are. And that is simply not true. The numbers show us, when you look at the whole picture, black men commit more crime, therefore have more run-ins with police, therefore are more likely to die in the hands of the police. It's really that simple. And yes, I will end this video by saying that all lives matter. Liberals say that saying all lives matter is racist because all lives aren't being taken or at risk right now. And that is simply the furthest thing from the truth. All lives are taken every single day by violence from all kinds of people. All lives should be addressed. All lives should be cared about. And all lives do matter. Thank you, everyone. If you liked this video, please like and follow my page and share this video. Thanks again, and God bless.